Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're setting our sights on Portugal. It's a nation really emerging as one of Europe's most intriguing tech frontiers. Our mission, basically, is to take this stack of sources we have and distill everything you need to know about launching a tech product there.
Mm,
From the unique market pulse to the consumer quirks and the crucial regulatory landscape. Think of it as your shortcut, your expedited path to really understanding this opportunity.
it really is a distinctive opportunity. I mean, Portugal has gone through this remarkable transformation. It's evolved from, well, a more traditional ICT provider into one of Europe's fastest growing innovation hubs. And what's particularly significant is its strategic location. It truly serves as a gateway, connecting Europe, Africa, and the Americas, all supported by this surprisingly robust and constantly expanding digital infrastructure.
Okay, so let's unpack this growth then. When our sources talk about a boom, it's backed by some genuinely impressive figures, right? This isn't just talk. We're looking at a tech ecosystem generating 2.6 billion in startup revenue just in 2024, employing over 26,000 professionals across, 4,719 active startups. That's quite something. And it's not just homegrown stuff either. You've got global tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Amazon setting up shop. Plus, Portugal's nurtured 7 unicorns names like Farfetch, OutSystems, TalkDesk. Pretty well-known names.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of growth, it's not accidental. The tech market now accounts for nearly 10% of Portugal's GDP. That's approximately $20 billion in total turnover. A major catalyst for this has definitely been the government's forward-looking 2020 National Action Plan for Digital Transition. That plan, along with the broader Portuguese Recovery and Resilience Plan, has, well, strategically pushed substantial EU funding right into digital initiatives and infrastructure, basically laying the groundwork.
Right, building that foundation.
Yeah.
And our sources pull out a really compelling detail, the software development market specifically. It's projected to hit $3.27 billion by 2028, with a compound annual growth rate of 6.52%. That's strong, sustained growth. What's actually driving that kind of demand?
Well, that growth is fueled by a pretty pervasive demand for cloud-based solutions, plus the widespread adoption of AI across industries and these big, comprehensive digital transformation efforts that are touching, well, nearly every sector of the Portuguese economy. Businesses are actively modernizing,
Mhm.
and software is right at the heart of that.
So for companies looking to jump in, what's maybe one of the biggest strategic advantages Portugal offers?
Beyond the tech itself. Yeah, beyond the talent and infrastructure, which are good.
Yeah.
It's the financial advantage. It's huge. According to OECD data, Portugal consistently ranks as Europe's most affordable country for running a business. And this isn't just like slightly lower salaries. It often means significantly lower operational costs, office space, utilities, energy. For startups, that means you can stretch your funding runway much further than in, say, London or Berlin. That can be a real game changer, especially early on.
Okay, that's a very practical point. We've covered the market trends. Let's pivot now to the more practical side, the actionable steps, understanding the regulatory environment and what companies really need to know about Portuguese consumer preferences. This is where it gets interesting, right? Expert, what are the key regulatory bodies, the requirements someone launching there would bump into?
Yeah, navigating the regulations is vital. Key bodies include ANACOM. That's the National Regulatory Authority for Communications. They handle telecommunications, IoT devices, wireless stuff. So you'll likely engage with them for certain product certifications or network approvals. Then for tech products with an R&D angle, the Foundation for Science and Technology, or FCT, offers significant funding opportunities, worth looking into. And, critically, Portugal is fully aligned with all EU regulations. That includes the recently enacted AI Act, effective August 2024. So any tech product using AI features must adhere to its guidelines. Strict ones, too. Data protection is also paramount. Robust GDPR enforcement by the Portuguese Data Protection Authority, the CNPD. This often means comprehensive privacy frameworks and, for larger operations, maybe even needing local data protection officers.
Okay, so a clear framework, but definitely detailed, lots to keep track of. But beyond the rules, what about the people, the consumers? What's something about their behavior that really surprises companies coming in?
Well, first off, the digital engagement is high. You've got 8.84 million internet users, 7.43 million on social media. That's a lot for the population size. E-commerce adoption is booming too. projected to hit 11.03 billion by 2030, up from 6.45 billion in 2025. Big jump. But here's the really critical insight, I think. 62.21%, nearly two-thirds of e-commerce transactions happen via smartphones. This isn't just about having a responsive website. It demands a truly mobile-native experience, optimized for touch, fast loading, acknowledging that for many Portuguese users, their smartphone is their main computer. Your product has to absolutely shine on mobile.
Wow, 62%. That's a huge number. So if your app is clunky on mobile, you're basically, shutting the door on almost two-thirds of potential customers?
Pretty much, yeah. Right off the bat.
Okay, so they find your great mobile app, they decide to buy. What's the payment journey like? Is it all credit cards, or are there local quirks?
That's another key point. While debit cards are widely used, about 62% use them. Local methods like multi-banco are huge. Multi-banco is this ubiquitous interbank network used for everything: paying bills, ATM withdrawals, online purchases, and its mobile payment app, MBWay, is incredibly popular. Integrating these isn't just a nice to have. Honestly, it's pretty much non-negotiable if you want to maximize conversions and build trust. People expect it.
That's a vital takeaway for anyone doing the tech integration. Essential. And our sources point out this fascinating balance in consumer values, too. 86% are actively hunting for special offers, but they also really value quality. They're willing to pay a premium if they see genuine benefits. It's not just a race to the bottom on price.
Exactly. And that speaks volumes about the role of trust. Portuguese consumers rely heavily on recommendations from friends and family. They tend to show, let's say, considerable skepticism towards a lot of traditional social media advertising. The flashy stuff. This means referral programs, word-of-mouth marketing. They're particularly effective there. Authenticity matters. Genuine user testimonials often carry much more weight than big ad campaigns. So maybe fewer flashy influencers, more real stories. It's about building that rapport.
Right. Authenticity over slickness. Okay, so we've got the market pulse, the regulations, the consumer mindset. How does a company actually take all this and build a successful launchpad, a real strategy for Portugal?
Well, first, it means understanding that the business culture there really values relationships. Face-to-face interaction is still important. Even if you start virtually, making those local connections is vital. Partnering with local incubators or accelerators, think Startup Lisboa, UTech, Beta I, can be invaluable. They offer great networking, market insights, help navigating those cultural nuances.
And it's not just about showing up, it's speaking the language, literally. The localization piece sounds critical.
Yeah.
Our sources stress it goes way beyond just simple translation. You need to pay close attention to Portugal's unique Portuguese variant. It's quite different from Brazilian Portuguese, right? For interfaces, marketing, everything. Getting that wrong seems like a big own goal.
Absolutely. It can lead to miscommunication or just feel off.
Right.
It signals you haven't done your homework. And strategic timing for your launch can also make a huge difference. Leverage major tech events. Portugal Tech Week, or especially the Web Summit in Lisbon, that thing is massive. 80,000 attendees, 160 countries. It offers just unparalleled visibility and networking, prime time to connect with customers, partners, investors. And then on the logistics side, Portugal's infrastructure is quite advanced. Same-day delivery in big cities, major investments by DPD, DHL, CTT. It supports really efficient product delivery right from day one.
It really sounds like Portugal has put the pieces in place to be supportive. I mean, that startup ecosystem growth, 16% in 2024, plus government programs like the Startup Visa, Tech Visa, even a national VC firm, Portugal Ventures, actively investing. That's encouraging.
Oh, absolutely. And beyond just direct funding, you have the national network of incubators, over 150 facilities nationwide. They provide mentorship, connections, sometimes direct access to potential customers. And the funding landscape itself is really broadening. The ecosystem raised $2 billion in 2024. That's a 40% jump year over year. Plus, it's not just Lisbon anymore. You're seeing significant growth and investment pouring into cities like Porto, Braga, Coimbra as well.
Right, it's diversifying geographically.
Right.
And that built-in advantage for international expansion you mentioned, programs like Soft Landing Portugal, those natural links to Portuguese-speaking markets in Africa and Brazil, that seems like a massive potential multiplier down the road.
It really does. Which raises the question, how do you actually leverage strategic partnerships in such a relationship-driven market? Well, technology partnerships with the big Portuguese corporations, NOS, MEO, Vodafone Portugal, can seriously accelerate market entry and adoption. Distribution deals with major retailers like Wharton or Fnac are obviously key for consumer products. And then there are unique academic partnerships. Universities like Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon, University of Porto. Great sources for talent and cutting-edge research. And don't forget government partnerships through initiatives like Industry 4.0, Smart Cities. often facilitated by agencies like AICSE, the Trade and Investment Agency. They can open doors.
Okay, lots of potential partners. So once you're set up, maybe partnered up, how do you actually reach your audience effectively? What's the digital marketing landscape look like on the ground? We saw the numbers. Facebook strong at 5.9 million users, Instagram plus behind at 5.8 million, TikTok significant for younger groups at 3.67 million, and LinkedIn obviously crucial for B2B.
Yeah, those are the main platforms. But when it comes to content marketing, Portuguese audiences really appreciate detailed, informative content. Case studies featuring local success stories are gold. They want to see how your solution has worked for businesses or people like them in Portugal. And here's a really interesting nuance about influencers. Micro-influencers, those with maybe 1,000 to 5,000 followers, they often generate much higher engagement rates. Like we said about trust, Portuguese consumers tend to trust these more authentic niche voices over big celebrity endorsements. So genuine user testimonials are crucial for credibility, sparking that word of mouth.
That's a really valuable tip for channel strategy. Thinking smaller sometimes means bigger impact. And it seems traditional media isn't totally dead either, especially B2B. Publications like Dinheiro Vivo, Jornal de Negócios still carry weight.
Precisely. For certain products, especially B2B, they're still very relevant for reaching decision makers. And underpinning all of this marketing and product delivery is Portugal's really advanced digital infrastructure. Its location makes it a major submarine cable hub. Projects like Link, To Africa, Medusa, they're seriously boosting international connectivity. Low latency, high bandwidth, great news for tech. We're also seeing rapid 5G deployment. Over 4 million subscriptions expected by 2025. That opens up possibilities for advanced apps, AR/VR, complex IoT solutions.
Right, and you couple that with strong cloud adoption, Microsoft building an AI innovation factory in Lisbon, it really shows the market's ready for advanced stuff.
Exactly, it signals readiness. But of course, with all this increasing digitalization, cybersecurity is naturally a growing concern for businesses and consumers. So having robust security features built into your product and ensuring compliance with regulations like NIS2, that's the EU's updated Network Security Directive, is absolutely essential. Non-negotiable, really.
Okay, if we sort of connect all these threads, the market, the consumer, the tech, the regulations, how should companies actually measure success in Portugal, and how should they plan for scaling up long term?
Well, for success metrics, I'd say focus acutely on adoption rates within your specific target segments. Don't try to boil the ocean initially. User engagement, definitely. Retention rates, how sticky is your product, and customer lifetime value, CLV. Especially given Portugal's smaller population compared to, say, Germany or France, niche products can actually achieve significant profitability with a really focused, effective strategy. Mass market penetration isn't always needed from day one.
That makes sense. And for expanding within Portugal, our sources suggest looking beyond Lisbon and Porto early on. Cities like Braga, Coimbra, Aveiro. Could they be valuable sort of testing grounds before a full national rollout? They offer different dynamics.
Absolutely. They can be great places to find in your product market fit, understand regional differences, lower cost base sometimes too. And then from a broader perspective, those international expansion opportunities tend to emerge quite naturally. Portugal's historical and cultural connections, particularly to Portuguese-speaking markets in Africa and Brazil, offer a really ready-made pathway for global growth. It's a unique advantage. And of course, being in the EU provides that direct route for wider European expansion once you've established a solid footing in Portugal. And finally, just touching on talent. Acquisition and retention success really hinges on offering competitive packages that go beyond just salary. Think quality of life benefits, remote work flexibility where possible, clear professional development paths. These are increasingly crucial to attract and keep skilled tech pros in this growing market. So to sum it all up, I'd say launching a tech product in Portugal offers really exceptional opportunities, but it's for companies willing to truly understand and thoughtfully adapt to the local dynamics. Success really hinges on that careful balance, leveraging your global product strengths, but with deep local adaptation and showing you're there for the long haul, demonstrating that commitment.
That really sums it up well. Portugal seems genuinely at an inflection point, doesn't it? Rapidly shifting from just emerging to being an established, really vibrant innovation hub. Hopefully, this deep dive has armed you with the kind of insights you need to potentially ride that growth wave. Now, here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on as you go about your day. Consider how Portugal's really unique blend those deep historical global connections on one hand and its proactive, forward-looking digital infrastructure on the other, how that combination might serve as a compelling model. A model perhaps for other nations aiming to become tech innovation hubs themselves. what universal lessons might be embedded in Portugal's particular success story.